Welcome to Garage Gym Athlete Ask Me Anything. It's pretty simple. I'll be answering questions from the thousands of athletes that follow our daily programming. If you have a question or topic you want submitted, go to garagegymathlete.com/AMA. Let's get started. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Jared Moon here from Into 3 Fitness, and welcome to a Garage Gym Athlete Ask Me Anything episode. So this week we have from Oliver basically asking about Zone 2 versus high intensity training. Oliver wanted to know, because we talk about that a lot. If you listen to all the other podcast episodes, if you're only catching this on YouTube, maybe you haven't heard us discuss it, but we talk about Zone 2 training and the importance of that. And then we also talk about the importance of not doing high intensity training all the time. And Oliver was talking about, he had picked up some information about high intensity training. The after effect of high intensity training is supposed to be the major benefit, not the, during the intra-session benefit. So the, having a higher metabolic rate after, or exercise post oxygen consumption, all these things after high intensity training. He said, though, he's like, I thought those were all the benefits of high intensity training. We're the ones kind of saying, hey, don't do high intensity training all the time. We're a big push. We push Zone 2 training a lot when prescribed appropriately. So let me just real quick, Zone 2 training. A lot of research on it right now that it's improving mitochondrial efficiency, which is what you want. You want your body to be able to partition fuels and utilize them better. And in a metabolically unhealthy person, what happens is you don't burn fat very well. You actually transition to burning sugar very fast. You have a huge increase in lactate very early in the onset of exercise. So that's what happens in metabolically unhealthy people. And if you aren't the most metabolically healthy person and you go straight to high intensity training, you're doing a lot of those same things. You're not teaching your body how to better utilize fuels, specifically burning fat. So Zone 2, your body likes to pull a majority of its energy from fat in Zone 2. And that's a big reason that we like it, is there's an associated burning fat for fuel, but also the mitochondrial efficiency and teaching your body how to better utilize different energy sources during different activities. If you are already really healthy and a very well-trained athlete, your body might already know how to do these things pretty well. Now, the way I look at high-intensity training, there's really two parts that I like to make very clear. So high-intensity training is just high intensity, and it's training. So this could be 20, 30 minutes of high-intensity activity, little breaks. It doesn't say. It's just high-intensity training. So first you have to define what that is. Now, if we're talking about high-intensity interval training, which could be 10 seconds on, 60 seconds on, 90 seconds on, followed by recovery period, could be full recovery, that is going to be a little bit more useful in training your metabolic system than just high intensity constantly. And so that is the big difference there between Zone 2. Now, there are pros and cons like Oliver talked about. So in Zone 2 training, when you're doing Zone 2 training, you are burning calories, a lot of them coming from fat, and that happens while you're doing the Zone 2 activity. But after the activity is over, because Zone 2 is not super intense, there is not a lot of post-exercise burn. That's why when Zone 2 is prescribed, it's typically longer in duration. So we're talking about, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever it is. That's our prescription typically. You could do it much longer. You could do 2 hours, 3 hours of Zone 2, something like that, depending on your time. So that is the pro of Zone 2 is it's utilizing a very particular macronutrient fuel source, but at the same time, there's not a lot of post-exercise burn. But however, you are typically doing it on a very long timeline, so there's a lot of calories being burned. Now with high-intensity training, what you're saying is true. There is, your body does continue to burn a lot of calories in that recovery period, but what are we talking about? It's not going to be a 1-for-1 if you're doing an 8-minute Metcon and then thinking you're good for the day, and that's going to match, 60 minutes of Zone 2 cycling. The calorie burn wouldn't even be close. And so getting more metabolically healthy, I think, is the main goal. And it's going to take a blend of all these different types of training prescribed and programmed appropriately to see all the benefits. I don't think that there's anything that's inherently bad, but I do know high intensity training every single day has a lot of bad things that come with it. It can screw up your gut, jacks up your cortisol. The chances of your recovery are less, can suppress the CNS. There are just a lot of things. Not inherently bad. It's kind of like money. Like money is not inherently bad, but if you're a jerk, you might spend your money on jerk things. Or if you are, a really nice person, you might donate a lot of your money. You just need to know how to utilize the tool. The tool itself is not good or bad. So yes, to answer your question, there is some post-exercise caloric burn that you could take into account with high-intensity training. Would it ever equate to zone 2? Probably not. Now, if you were to do 60 minutes high intensity for 60 minutes zone 2, yeah, high intensity is going to burn more calories, but at what cost? At what cost to you and your health is that high intensity training going to take you down? Because that's a long time for high intensity training session, and I don't see a lot of people doing that out there. So I think I would rather focus on mitochondria efficiency, metabolic health by blending in some high intensity interval training and then a lot more low aerobic based training that's going to just help you kind of be a better human, for lack of getting into any more science there. So what you're saying is true, but it's not going to equate to being the same. And you got to think about long term, what can you do? The only arguments I ever see of doing high intensity training over zone 2 is people are always like, you're crunched for time. Why don't you just do high intensity training? You could do much less and get the same results. And it's like, well, that's not how biology works. Like, where in the human biological system has trying to shortcut things ever worked out? Like, this is not some sort of hack. You will burn some calories, but everything comes with a cost. If you want to redline your engine on your way to work every single day, that's fine. And it'll be fine for a while, right? But then eventually your car will crap out. And I don't think your body is too much different, unfortunately. And the real problem with these things is you might pick up a study that says high intensity is good, but just for another analogy here, like coffee. Like coffee, you could pull a lot of studies saying coffee is good for you, that the caffeine is fine. And so you read a study, your mind says coffee is good. Okay, good, coffee's good. But if you're pounding 10 cups of coffee every day, you could get heart palpitations. You could have a very increased level of anxiety. There's just a lot of other things that could come, jacking up your cortisol. There are a lot of bad things that come with consuming that much coffee every single day. And so if you read a study that says high intensity training is good, what were the parameters? Who are they studying? How frequently? You got to look at all of those things, because high intensity on Fridays sounds good. Is it high intensity interval training? Even better, getting those full rest and recovery periods. But are you doing high intensity training every day because somewhere it said high intensity is good, but you didn't look at all the details? That post-caloric burn is not going to be really a factor anymore, because there's too many other bad things that happen when you're doing high intensity training every single day. So I know that was a ramble, but hopefully that cleared up the zone 2 versus high intensity. There are pros and cons to each one, and you kind of have to decide what your goals are and what you're looking to do. But that is it for zone 2 versus high intensity. I don't think that topic is over. I'll probably cover it in more detail as time goes along. But, we at least got it started there. So if you are enjoying these episodes and you want to ask a question, go to garagegymathlete.com/AMA. On top of that, if you are listening to this on, say, your Apple device, iTunes, something like that, Apple Podcast, leave a 5-star review, positive comment. It really does help the show out, and I really, really do appreciate it, guys. And if you're watching this on YouTube, give me a like, thumbs up, and you can also leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already to make sure you get notified of new episodes. But either way, guys, thanks for watching or listening. I hope you enjoyed today's Ask Me Anything episode. So one more time, if you want to submit a question, topic, or idea, you can do so at garagegymathlete.com/AMA. And hey, while you're there, if you haven't already, sign up for Garage Gym Athlete membership. We are the best community and programming on the internet. I dare you to try and prove me wrong.